Hey gang, Ronan here. As you can see in this game, I'm playing the Tier 10 US destroyer Gearing. Gearing is definitely a favorite of mine. Now, I have not been playing destroyers much since, well, a couple of days after the 0.10.5 update when the most recent torpedo bug was introduced. Well, they haven't addressed that yet. So I have found it a little frustrating playing destroyers, but the other day I played Gearing, Shima, and Nustra Shimi back to back, and had pretty good results in all three games. I'm going to go in here real quick and correct another bug that was introduced that same update. This is a UI bug. These will not stay set for replays, only for the game. When you're in the game, no problem. But if you want to see this information when you're in a replay, you got to go in and manually reset it each time. So I do that so you have access to the information while we're watching this. Now, if you are unfamiliar, Gearing is, well, it's arguably one of the better destroyers in the game, at least in my opinion. The ship, while it's not particularly maneuverable, which can be a little bit of a shock when you come out of the Fletcher, it does have decent guns. It has good torpedoes with amazing range, at least once you get everything, set up, to my mind at least, properly. And it's got a decent HP pool. It's a really well-rounded destroyer. So once you've got it set up and you've got the correct commander skill, as you can see that the HP there, with the commander skill, 22,900 HP. Guns, they're 127s. You got 6 of them. You're going to use HP almost all the time. The HP, each shell does a maximum damage of 1,800 with a 5% fire chance. And the torpedoes is, at least to my mind, kind of where this thing really shines. You got 10 of them, and they, once you get it all set up, they do a max damage of 17,900 each, and they have a 16.5 kilometer range, which in the current meta between all the CVs and the long-range 12-kilometer Russian radar is just, it's awesome. Now you still need to, really you need to be able to see into the future in order to be effective with any torpedo boat in this game. And when your range is 16.5 kilometers and you're trying to stay away from long-range radar, you have to really be either a good prognosticator or extremely lucky. Now, maybe in this game I was a little bit of both. I'd like to tell myself I played a good game, but there's always a certain amount of random chance, I guess, in any of these games. Anyway, having said all of that, I really enjoy this ship. So this was the first one I played when I decided, okay, I'm going to play, Gearing, Shima, Nustra, Shimi. I had been playing. I have no idea why this guy behind me, the Zhao, is shooting at me. Maybe because I didn't go on the cap, which I guess maybe he doesn't know about Russian radar. I don't know. I'd been playing basically for the last couple months since that 10.5 update, which really just irritates me no end that they introduced these bugs and haven't addressed them yet. Even though Hapafodder, who's no longer with Wargaming, acknowledged on their forums, yeah, we know this bug is there and it's being looked into, but nobody's done anything about it. So anyway, at that point I decided, you know what, I'm just going to finish up the few handful of grinds that I haven't got all the way to 10 yet, and then probably just play a little bit less. So I have, in the last, I don't know, was it 7-8 weeks, finished up a half a dozen or so that I had at either 8 or 9, tier 8 or 9. Bought the 10s, got them all tricked out with the commanders, etc. The only one that I have left is the Italian BB line, which I have the 8. I just have to, finish grinding that, get the 9, grind that, and then buy the 10. I've got plenty of credits for that. I have a bunch of tier 6 and tier 4 CVs, most of them that were given to me by Wargaming in the hope that I would, fall in love with them and want to play them and ultimately buy premiums. Not a chance of that happening. I managed to catch the gearing sitting in the smoke. I was hoping to get that and the Z23, but Z23 angled up well. Looks like I caught the gearing right on the nose. But I can at least contest the cap and keep them from getting those points. I'm out of range of the radar on the Petro. I have to be careful the Z23 doesn't push at me with his hydro, because if he does, Petro will be able to get guns on me as well. And that thing, those guns are just, they're rail guns. They're accurate. They hit really hard. You in a destroyer, well, really in anything, you do not want to get caught by that shit. Now I'll see if I can catch the Z23 just sitting there. You can see the Zaltorp's already headed that way. If his hydro was up before, maybe it will have run out. You can see I'm kind of gauging my range. I've got the little indicator around me on the minimap saying 5.5 kilometers. I'm trying to stay outside of his hydro range if it's still up so it doesn't light me up. Goal here is just make sure the bad guys don't get points here at the Bravo Cap. So to the best of my ability, that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to keep them from getting any points here. They've already secured it. They had 2 DDs and a radar cruiser here. I had a Zao that was shooting me in the back and myself. Now this is what I talked about earlier. The gearing is not all that maneuverable. So I do eat a torp here. It's alright. I mean, he has some idea where I'm at, but he's not going to be able to throw torps immediately.
Problem solved, sir.
And I've got torps out that could be dual purpose and catch that Petro back there. So anyway, getting back to what I was saying a second ago, you know, wherever I spawn, I try to do my best there. Now, if I'm completely overwhelmed, then obviously I just fall back. But am I going to get him? Yes, I am. That's kill number 2, and I've still got the Z23 out here, but he's no longer in the cap. I'm not sure I can afford hitting another torpedo, so I need to stay angled at least a little bit. I'm using the radio location skill to try and keep track more or less of where he's at.
All stations requesting fire on the designated target.
So if he reverses, he'll reverse somewhere into that area. I'm just going to flood it with torps and hope I catch him. Now, what I was talking about a few minutes ago was that I'm just trying to finish up some grinds, and then I'll probably be playing a lot less. I don't have any interest in grinding up through the CVs. I don't find CVs fun. It's really that simple. I liked the RTS style of CVs, and in fact, I used to tell people one of the reasons I really like them is because it's a nice change of pace from what I have in the other 3 ship types. So, you know, when they made it, I'm generalizing here, and I'm not saying this to, and I catch the Z23, and I'm not saying this to be a jerk, but it feels to me like the CV rework was just kind of a way to introduce World of Airplanes mechanics into this game. Now I know that those torps are coming. I just try and stay angled as best I can, and I'm trying to get some guns on Des Moines, which is a real threat for me. But Venezia takes them out. I don't have to worry about that anymore. Now at this point, we're down 4 ships. The bad guys are down 5. This is still anybody's game. We've got a points lead, but they've got a cap. We've got a cap, and you know, now we're just going to have to see. Now I'm just spotting here for our Kitakaza, who's just raining shells down on that Alabama. And I hope you'll forgive that phone ringing in the background. I'm going to have to just let it ring. So, and we'll just keep spotting. And it's just find the Hizen back there. And I'll just keep pushing forward. Now, I know that there are going to be ships coming from the 9 and 10 line, and they're probably pushing southwest. They're probably crossing, say, from Delta 10 to Echo 9 to Foxtrot 8, etc. They're probably coming down that line. So I want to angle so that if I run into them, I'm pointed right at them, so that I can turn away and accelerate and stay out of sight. And I'm taking a look at what remains. You know, they got Annapolis, Benham, Mr. Shimmy. Those are the big threats to me. Our Kitakaza takes out the Alabama. And at this point, I'm sitting with 3 ships sunk, 7 torpedo hits, 6 floods, 2 incapacitations, 2 detections, 1 cap, and about 70,000 damage for just about at the halfway point if it runs the full 20 minutes. And I'm seeing the potential here to have a pretty decent game because I'm going to be out here to meet this, what I'm almost certain is going to be a push, like I was describing for a minute or so ago, from up here. Now I've got Venezia here to support me, and you can see I've got Minnesota and a few other ships that are kind of pushing from west of the Bravo Cap. Now I'm just hoping right now that I catch this Hizen with a face full of torpedoes. I'll go take a look here in a second. Yep, that's going to hurt. A little bit of damage there, not what I was hoping for, but you know, what are you going to do? He's flooding. If I get lucky, I'll end up finishing him off. Nope, Venezia does. That puts me up at about 85, 86,000 damage on 8 torpedo hits. And again, I know that they're pushing, and I know the Nostroshimia is probably going to be the first thing I see. So I'm just going to sit right here and wait. And there he is. And he's going to come on around this corner. Got me detected. I'm angling up. He's going to probably smoke. Let's see if I can move forward far enough to see him. There's the smoke. I can see him now. And I'll just try and finish him off. Now he's got nobody behind me to spot for him. So I could have just continued to rain shells on him, but I didn't need to do that. I'm going to push forward in case he got torpedoes away. Obviously, if I'm where I'm at right now, there's no torpedo from him that's going to hit me. If he threw torpedoes, they had to be where I was, which means there's no chance they're going to hit me now. And the fact that I haven't seen him yet means that he probably just didn't have them ready. He threw them through the center, trying to catch Venezia or Kremlin or Minnesota. So that's kill number 4, 88,000 damage. We got this Kansas. He's going to have to, he's got to either just push straight in or he's got to stop and hope he catches somebody with a big shot. Now he's nose into a Kremlin, so catching a Kremlin with a big shot, even in a Kansas, that's a lot to ask and hope for. So I expect he's probably just going to continue with the same slow crawl of a pace. And even if he decided to accelerate or turn or whatever, Kansas is such a tub that I'm probably going to catch him with at least one. And if he just stays on this same track, I'm probably going to catch him with several. Enemy Napoli goes down. We've still got 7 ships. Bad guys are down to 3. This is just a mop-up operation at this point. Smolensk finishes off Benham. They've only got 2 ships. So this is probably going to be over here very shortly. So, that's the Kraken. Alright, so I picked up a Kraken. And that's 12 torpedo hits. 9 floods on those 12 torpedo hits. Haven't gotten a whole lot of work out of the guns, but I did finish up Mr. Shimmy with guns. Now, Kurfürst, of course, has hydro. And I'll just, keep from running straight at him. That way, if he does hydro, I can just run away and get just far enough away where he can't see me. But I'll get nice and close here because he's not long for this world. There's his hydro. Secondaries are going. I'm just going to go ahead and stop here, smoke up. Now, a few updates ago, they set it up so that my torpedoes can't hurt my guys, but I still just kind of on principle try to avoid throwing torpedoes into the face of friendlies, so I'll throw them back there in case he turns around, and it'll also prevent him from turning around. If he intended to turn around, well, he's going to change his mind because he's going to have those to contend with. He'd probably rather just go nose into the ships. And that's exactly what he's doing. He can see my torpedoes. He knows he can't go that way. So I'll just continue to try and farm some damage here. And as soon as we finish him off, this is going to be over. So I'll say thank you very much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this. Gearing is super fun. If you haven't ground this line and you like destroyers, it's really fun. Again, thanks for joining me. If you liked it, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.